Hey folks, welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today I'm going to talk about a couple of different important topics dealing with the stock market, the crypto markets, and the wealth transfer, mainly surrounding the issues with China. And these are things that we definitely need to look out for in the future. China was kind of put back on the back burner as far as invading Taiwan earlier this year after Russia invaded Ukraine. Now, folks, before I get into anything else, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing information, giving you my thoughts and my opinions on that information. So if you guys like these videos that I make, the support links are down below in the description and also the About section of YouTube. Now, one of the things that I want to deal with first is what actually took place in July. I had some different expectations, and those expectations were not met. One of the things that I talked about was July 26th, 27th, and the 28th. And those 3 days were supposed to be important 3 days that I thought, and not just myself, but many other people, that it was going to be a red week and that the GDP numbers was going to be something that was going to crush the markets on that day. And the week before, this administration went out and did everything they could to soften the blow of what was going to happen that week. And what they did was they actually went out and tried to change the definition of a recession. And actually were pretty successful at doing that and convincing most of the American people that this economy is okay, that we are not in a recession. Okay, and that is very, very dangerous because you know what? If it was the other way around and there was a Republican in office, it would be a bloodbath concerning the media and the Republican trying to change the definition of a recession. But it also goes to show how much people are plugged into the media matrix and how much they believe the media matrix. And these are people that they're just, they're not thinking about any of these things that are going on in the world, right? Yes, things are tough for them, but they're still watching their Netflix. They're still watching their favorite shows. They're still doing the things that they normally do, not even realizing that this economy is really falling apart. And it's not that I'm trying to be negative or anything like that too, folks. We all know that the stock market is overvalued. The job market has changed. We don't have the factories like we used to. Guess where all the factories are at, right? Most of them are in China, right? A lot of our manufacturing is done in another country. Let's look at our supply chain issues. Why is that? Because the United States does not manufacture the things that we used to manufacture anymore. And so those expectations were dashed just for the simple fact that this administration went out and they convinced the majority of American people, don't worry, everything's okay. Now keep in mind this, remember what Christopher Harris said, and he talked about the markets and a dream that God showed him back in 2021. And he says here, I had a dream of the U.S. and the OS markets and financial group leaders in fear, panic, that they were anxiously awaiting a massive drop in the markets. It was like they had done all they could do to avert it and were trying to make it appear as if business was normal, but they were very worried of a coming major crash. There was urgency with this dream. Okay, and they were trying to make it appear as if business was normal. Okay, and that's what happened with this administration when they went out and tried to change the definition of a recession, and the majority of brainwashed Americans believe this stuff. To make it appear as if business was normal. Oh, this is not a recession. We have all these extra additional numbers we're going to add into this to make it look like it's not a recession. So they're trying to make it appear as if business was normal. That's what they're trying to do here. One of the things that people have to understand, this wealth transfer, there's many different aspects to this wealth transfer. And you look at, say, the cryptocurrency industry, right? We have individual cryptocurrencies that we're looking at, like Shiba Inu, to go up to a certain point. That's part of the wealth transfer. But also part of that in the cryptocurrency industry is Bitcoin going down to zero too as well. So just like the stock market, right? We've seen some low stock market numbers. In order for some of the wealth transfer dealing with the stock market to take place, well, the stock market has to drop very low. We look at McDonald's, right? If I want to be a part owner in McDonald's and I have the seed money because of a lot of the other different wealth transfers, and I'll be able to set myself up to be a major owner in McDonald's. And if McDonald's is going to be that low, you can imagine what some of the other players in the Dow are going to be too as well. But see, in order for the wealth transfer to take place, a lot of negative things have to happen. and then God can do what he needs to do in his own reset. Because, God is resetting all these different things. He's resetting the church. He's resetting this world. He's resetting the economy, right? And in order to get the wicked out of all of that, you have to reset it. So there are certain things that are going to happen, right, that aren't going to be very good. And that's why God is telling his people to store up, to stock up your food, your water, other things, if you need to move out of the city, right, to prepare yourself. So, and, we had the prophetic word from Maria Conwell dealing with a July, dealing with Bitcoin going down to zero. Now, I've had to correct some people. I just had to correct somebody yesterday because they said her prophecy was false. And I said, well, her prophecy said she didn't know which July, if it was going to be this July or next July. Okay, she said pray about which July. So it wasn't this July. So she put that out there months ago, that she didn't know which July it would be. Yes, we were wishing and hoping that it was this July, but it wasn't. Right? So, but we also know that there's going to be multiple reasons why Bitcoin is going to end up going to zero. So we've identified at least, 3 to 5 different time periods, according to prophetic words by various individuals, that we're going to see Bitcoin drop to zero, possibly up to 5 times. And it might very well take that much for the wealth transfer to happen. Because Bitcoin needs to decouple from the rest of the markets. Because if Bitcoin was decoupled from the markets now, do you realize that a lot of cryptocurrencies we're invested in right now would have already been taking off if Bitcoin was decoupled? So we need Bitcoin to go to zero on multiple times in order for them to decouple. So we're not dependent on Bitcoin to dictate what Shiba Inu does, or Bitcoin to dictate what ADA does, or any other cryptocurrency. All right, so really quickly, one of the things that I want to talk about is China. And we all know that Nancy Pelosi went to Taiwan, pissed off China. This article right here says, Pelosi says U.S. will not abandon Taiwan as China plans military drills. Now, this is the thing, folks. Regardless of how you feel about Nancy Pelosi, politically, the threats that came against her and against the Speaker of the House should absolutely disgust you. But this is also a reminder of where we are at in this world. We have China, which is second in line as a superpower, is threatening to shoot down the Speaker of the House in their plane. It's absolutely disgusting. And we have touched on Taiwan and China before, but I think now that this is going to be back into the limelight. Now, yesterday, when Pelosi was in Taiwan, the Dow actually crashed, over 400 points when it closed out. And then yet, if we're in a recession, and what happened during that week, the Dow actually closed out higher than it opened, which is absolutely disgusting being in a recession. But it is what it is. Because I was expecting July, right? That last week of July, right? Let's get out of it. Let's get through it, and then that way the markets can move forward. And then what happens, the Dow gets crushed because Nancy Pelosi is visiting Taiwan. So right now I want to discuss some prophetic words. I'm not going to play anything here. You can do your research. All you have to do is type in prophetic dream, China invades Taiwan, and you'll come up with a number of different things. You search long enough, you probably find about 10 to 12 videos about people having prophetic dreams about China invading Taiwan. Just to kind of give some examples, right? Prophetic dream, China invades Taiwan. Right? Taiwan is God's little goldfish. Prophetic dream, China will invade Taiwan very soon. It may happen during the Ukraine war. Prophecy, Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a diversion. Pray for Taiwan. And here's another one I've shared some of this ministry's videos before on my channel. Dream, China invade Philippines. Another one, a dream, warning, Philippines, China invade Philippines. So there is some prophetic words dealing with that whole region about China invading Taiwan and some of those nations that are in that region. All right, because you should already know that China wants to dominate the world. They have to get rid of the United States in order for them to do that. If the United States was not here, China would have already invaded many of these countries over here. The United States is the only thing that is stopping China right now. So people all over the world need to understand that. But this is the one thing that's going to be most important. No matter where you live, We live in Australia, Africa, South America, Canada, Europe, wherever you live. If China invades Taiwan, it's going to break down the entire supply chain, because guess what's going to happen? All these nations will put sanctions on China. Even China might even cut off a lot of the supply chain itself, dealing with Western nations and any other nation. So you're going to see issues that are going to come up. If you thought that what happened with Ukraine and Russia and raising the price of gas and all the shortages and all the stuff that's been going on, wait till China invades Taiwan. And folks, this could happen at any time. What makes you think that China will not invade Taiwan with this administration? You had an administration that the president didn't even respond to China talking about downing the plane that Pelosi was on. How this could affect the wealth transfer, because at any moment in time, we could see the stock market go up, we could see the cryptocurrency markets go up, and next thing you know we're waking up to China invading Taiwan. So that's one of the reasons why we have to pray. We have to pray for peace. We have to pray for those who are in China. We pray for those that are making those decisions, and somehow, some way, that they won't make that decision to do it. I don't know what God's will is. All I know is that there is a reset that God is trying to do. God is resetting everything from the church to the nations, to this world, and to this country. And there are things that have to happen in order for it to happen. And if it's in God's will, then there's nothing that we can do. It's just like this, right? Trump was removed from presidency, right? And there's a lot of expectation that he is coming back. But if there's a set time and date, it doesn't matter what the prophets prophesy every week, every month, as they have been doing since 2020 and prophesying, right? If God has a set date, then obviously God is not talking to those prophets. But if there's a set time and date where he will come back, however that happens, or if it just happens in the next election cycle, eventually it will happen. But in order for God to reset everything, these events have to take place and have to occur. And God already has a date set. It doesn't matter what prophet prophesy anything about the return of Trump. There's a set date and time, and it's going to happen then, not when your favorite prophet says that they're going to come back. And if you don't believe me, read Jeremiah chapter 27, 28, and 29. So people need to be prepared for this. This is something that could come out of left field at any moment, any time. Now remember, when Russia was getting ready to invade Ukraine, what was the president coming on TV and saying? Russia's getting ready to invade Ukraine. If you have our president coming out on TV that China's getting ready to invade Taiwan, you best believe that they're getting ready to do that. And they actually probably want this to happen so they can cover up all the issues with the economy. Remember, they're trying to blame the Ukraine war on all the problems that we have here in the United States. So we need to be prepared for this. It's one of the reasons why we are praying for the finances to stock up on your storehouse. If you need to be able to move, right? And to be able to put yourself in a position so you can take care of your bills and get the things that you need to survive what's getting ready to take place. Because when this invasion happens, folks, you talk about the supply chain issues being as bad as they are now. Wait till China invades Taiwan. Now, one of the other things I want to talk about, there are other prophetic words dealing with China attacking the United States. We don't know how this is going to play out with Taiwan. And if the United States gets dragged into a war, you might see China and the United States going head-to-head in a war. And there are prophecies out there that deal with it. I think I'm going to put together an entire list of prophecies. And people say, well, that's not till the end times. That's not until Armageddon where China invades the United States. Or World War III is the war to end all wars. The Bible does not say anything about World War I, II, and III, and how World War III is the war to end all wars, that it's actually Armageddon. There's nothing in the Bible that says that. For all we know, before Armageddon, we might have World War V. When things seem at their worst, right? When things seem like there's no hope. When things seem like that's when a lot of things are going to change in this world. But nobody says, the Bible doesn't say World War III is the end, does it? There's always going to be wars and rumors of wars. And just because the United States goes up against China and there's a big, massive, bloody war, doesn't mean it's the end or it's the end times. Honestly, right now, when you look at things, we are in somewhat of a world war. But if China decides to invade Taiwan, it will be a full, all-out World War III. So all I wanted to do is just help people and prepare people for what's coming. All right, folks, so China is one of those things that now we're going to have to watch that consistently, right? It's always like something behind the back. No matter how well the stock market is doing, no matter how well the crypto markets are doing, we're going to have to be watching China to see what they do concerning Taiwan. Now, one of the other things that I want to talk about really quick, Israel lowers the threshold on cash transactions, takes effect next week, which means it's already taken effect. Since 2019, Israeli businesses and consumers have been subject to a limit on the value of cash transactions. On August the 1st, that limit is set to decrease from 3,192 to 1,741 for business payments, and from 14,510 to 4,353 for transactions between private individuals. All right, now you're going to see this more often. You're going to see laws being passed to restrict cash transactions, right? This is going to be part of the global currency reset, right? They start limiting cash. Remember, I've shared the prophetic dream about the lady from Africa and how she had a dream that they were burning cash. They were going to this new electronic system. This what I've been telling you guys, the central bank digital coin, the CBDCs. And for them to implement the CBDCs, they're going to have to be the rescue. First of all, I believe something may happen within the cryptocurrency markets, with dealing with stablecoins at some point down the road in the future. And then when fiat is crashing all over the world, the CBDCs will be the central bank's savior. And they want to know everything that you're doing when you're doing, especially with businesses. And businesses' threshold is 1,741. They want to know where all your money is going to. They want to know where it's coming in from, and they want to know where it's going to. To drop it down for your average citizen, 14,500 to 4,353 transactions between private individuals. That's pretty huge, folks. That's a big difference. And so eventually, what's going to happen the next time they reduce the amount that you can do? What if they start doing that here in the United States? What if they said cash transactions between private individuals over $1,000 is illegal? They're doing it here in Israel and in other places. So expect more countries to start doing this as they get closer to launching their central bank digital coins. Nobody's going to care about it unless the economy is in shambles, and they will come to the rescue. This is part of their overall agenda, and we know that God is going to turn it around for our good and not allow this to happen, because, folks, this is going to change. This whole financial system that's coming is going to change everything. You're already being watched everywhere you go. You got cameras everywhere, right? You're being tracked on your phone. You're being tracked in your car. You're being tracked on what you're watching every single day. All of that stuff. It's already happening. Okay, now there's these issues that I want to talk about dealing with cryptocurrency, dealing with these blockchain bridges, right? Hackers drained nearly 200 million from crypto startup and free-for-all attack. Hackers yanked almost 200 million in crypto from Nomad, a so-called blockchain bridge. Blockchain bridges allow users to transfer tokens from one network to another. They've become a prime target for hackers seeking to swindle investors out of millions. Now check this out. In April, a blockchain bridge called Ronin was exploited in a 600 million crypto heist, which U.S. officials have since attributed to North Korea state. Some months later, Harmony, another bridge, was drained of 100 million in a similar attack. So all three of these are all what you call blockchain bridges, right? This is why I say that, one of the reasons why the cryptocurrency industry cannot move forward. There are still so many issues, and these hackers are relentless on going after any way they can to cheat the system. And so, folks, you need to be wary. First of all, you need to be wary of these blockchain bridges. If you are using any type of blockchain bridge, first of all, I would look at changing the way that you do things, since now they're under attack. But it just goes to show the weakness of the cryptocurrency industry. $900 million in 3 crypto attacks gone, just like that. So that's why I say, when we look at the cryptocurrency industry, and I've said this in the past, that there's still a lot of issues. They're still dealing with the issue with Celsius and Three Arrows Capital, and all the whole fallout from Luna crashing, and some of these other stable coins that have crashed or depegged. So as far as this, I want people to be careful, but I'll do more of a follow-up on this, dealing with the cryptocurrency industry as a whole, because I still don't think that it's ready to move forward to see that point where Bitcoin is at 100,000, Shiba Inu is at $1. There's still a lot of things that still have to happen, still have to occur in order for people to trust the markets, in order for people to trust the markets enough to pour their money in, to see Bitcoin go back up past all-time highs, and to see some of the other cryptocurrencies go up past their all-time highs. So, folks, that is just all that I have for today. Just wanted you guys to be aware of certain things, especially this whole thing with China, and to make sure that we start preparing ourselves. Some of you who are already, you have the cryptocurrencies you want, that's when you need to start looking at, okay, I need to start stocking up on food, right, and preparing myself more if you have reached your goals, because we've been talking about some of these goals for the longest time. So hopefully most of you that have reached your goals, that you start focusing on stocking up on food, stocking up on other things, and preparing yourself, right? Because things are going to happen. So we just have to be patient, folks. I understand. I know there's a lot of frustration, and we've been doing a lot of waiting for the longest time. And especially if some of you have been involved in the dinar, you guys have been waiting a really long time for certain things to happen. But at some point, folks, things are going to start happening. I think we are closer than we ever have been before in the history of the wealth transfers. But for those of you who are waiting, just be patient. We are almost there. So that is all that I have for today. I thank you guys for listening. God bless. TC out.